and turn it over to Arturo and Eric.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I'm very excited, and you know, it's those things from from social media that make it really interesting. We talk about your clubs, and you talk that they're small and mighty. You know, we're hours away. You know, I haven't been able to meet this Sandia Club, or I haven't been able to meet the Metro Club, and I wouldn't think that they're small because I see them posting all the time. And you know, that's one of the advantages of social media. You know, I see them active and having fun, and you know, that's going back to what Michael was saying, is how do we bring more people in? It's sharing our stories, sharing what we're doing. And one of the things that I want to do is if we can do really fast, and I really like what we did on our Rotary Leadership Institute, just a brief mention, everybody, of why you joined Rotary. Can we do that? Very brief. What caught your attention to join Rotary? Why did you? Let's start with. Let's do the protocol just briefly. Cheryl, why did you join Rotary?
Let's see. I was fairly new to the community, and I was looking to meet some new people, but also to find out about the organizations in Albuquerque that are in the helping business. And I knew from a friend in Rotary that that our particular club does a lot of service projects at a lot of different nonprofits, and so that's what interested me.
Perfect. Anybody sounds familiar on that? You know, new to a community, coming in, trying to meet new people, right? Monica, do you want to go share a little bit? You know, to just Chama Valley a little bit.
Yes. Yes, the same kind of. I was new. I was looking who is active online first before coming, and I saw Rotary semi-active, and I was then actually brought that to me by another person, because I was trying to connect with everybody. I'm a network. It's very easy for me to just, I just basically come up to people and say like, hey, you're mayor, right? So then they kind of led me to a person that invited me, Scott Flory, actually. I don't know if you guys know him. And he invited me to the meeting, and that's when I kind of started to see, but yes, networking first, and now it's the service.
Excellent. Anybody similar thing, networking? I think we all did. For the new Rotarians that are coming up, we hear that all the time. They want to network, they want to be able to meet people. So that hasn't changed for Rotary, you know, for the years that they started to now. And I think going back to that question of how we get that pipeline of people joining Rotary is, how do we share that story? How do we share that we're a networking organization, that we have 1.2 million people? How do we, that hasn't changed. And I think, you know, Eric is one of the newest Rotarians and young Rotarians. And, you know, he shared with us when we started working with him that he started a new business, that he wanted to get involved in the community. So that continues on. So we're trying sometimes to recreate what Rotary is, and we just need to make, you know, sure that we're sharing the message. I know I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I don't want to bore you with a PowerPoint, but I just wanted to, I heard this and it really hit home. Jeff, can you give me a sign when you see it?
Got it.
Perfect. So briefly, I heard this in a presentation, I believe it was at the Zone, and they say that Rotary is a brand. And what is a brand? A brand is a promise. And it really caught my attention when they told me like that, you know, Rotary is a promise. What do we see in Rotary? When we see the logo, what do we think about? And like Jeff said, we're going to do this very interactive. So please feel free to jump in. What do we think about when we see the Rotary logo? First word that comes to mind. Come on. Wake up.
The wheel.
Well, you see the wheel, but what does it mean to you when you see the logo? Do you see a community service? Do you see an organization? Do you see like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know.
International presence.
International presence.
Service.
service,
Connections.
Excellent. Michael, I think you're on mute. Friends. Perfect.
In our
Okay.
community, Arturo, it's pretty synonymous with polio and the work with polio.
Polio and work with polio. Okay, and you know we're really close to that. You know, I'm wearing my polio shirt. I don't know if you can see it, and polio now. But you know, everybody has a different sense about what Rotary is, and this is really important. You know, Rotary Club in the community. 60% of the people surveyed, they didn't know about a local Rotary Club, and this is not new information. This is, you know, for many years ago. We need to make a better job in sharing our stories. And when we think about it, it's not that hard. You know, it was this is information from that we got during the pandemic, and you see the trends of the people using social media and how it increased. You know, you have Generation C, but you also have baby boomers and different generations using everyday social media, you know, more frequently. I'm gonna just, yeah.
Can you go back to that slide about the 60% real quick?
Yes, 68%. Which one? This one or the next
The
one?
one before.
60%. There you go. Uh-huh.
So was it they didn't know anything about their local Rotary Club, or they didn't know a lot about what the local Rotary Club did?
They didn't know about a Rotary, you know, a local Rotary Club. That they were not aware that they were that at all. Okay.
Maybe I could, can I just say something, because it's kind of resembles what I always thought. I was always exposed to the sign, and I know that the Rotary was there, present, and I know that the Rotary was an organization, but I wasn't really going deeper, and there was nothing to help me out with that.
And I think that's, and then you got, you know, geared to somebody that somebody invited you, and then I think it was like a snowball from there, you know, like everybody was able to share with you a little bit more. But how do we make sure? And right now there's a lot of instruments, and today we're going to be talking about some of them. But going about, you know, the different social media trends and you know, the usage after the pandemic, there's an increase in baby boomers that, you know, the different generations might be a little bit off. But, you know, this is something that really, and you know, there's a lot of different outlets that we can use for social media. Facebook is the one that I feel more comfortable. I don't know which one you like best. But, you know, in 2003, it didn't exist. And then 15 years later, you have 2.2 billion users. And I know there's people that might not like Facebook, that might think, you know, it's just a tool. You know, we just got to use it to share our stories. And a lot of people are there, and they're going to find out about it. You know, there's 3.8 billion people using social media daily. And we need to be where they are. We need to make sure that, you know, so we're very grateful to the Sandia Rotary Club that they sending us a picture. We will be glad to upload them. Anybody that needs that support, we're here to help you. And you know, you're not alone. This is something that it happened in 2011. Rotary initiated a global public image campaign. I think one of the challenges that Rotary has seen is that there's way too many Rotary logos out there. You know, all our clubs have their own logo, and I'm going to show you a graph on that. But we're basically in 2011, the public image campaign is centered in three main areas: membership, public image, and foundation. And the three have to work together, because you will not grow membership if you don't have a public image, and you won't grow foundation if you don't have membership or if you don't have public image. So this is something that is very important for all of us to be aware when we think about public image, is how do we strengthen our membership and foundation, the giving to Rotary. So let me, I believe, so yeah, this is what I talked about. You know, can you identify that this is Rotary?
A couple of them.
Yeah, but you know, when you
That's
see
very
a,
lovely.
when you see the logo, the Coca-Cola logo, anyone in the world is the same Coca-Cola logo. When you see this, you don't know if it's Rotary, if it's Lions, if it's what is it, you know, there's a lot of different things, you know, the Rotary Club and Boo, you didn't even see the wheel. So this is what we're trying to do. And this is very important for all the clubs. And I was very excited to hear that some of you are already working on I think Cheryl was the one that talked about rebranding their website and redoing that. So this is our logo. This is our master brand. This is our signature and mark of excellence. And we have a deadline. All our clubs need to comply by July of next year. So we're here to help you to make sure that all our 68 clubs are brand compliance. There's a lot of tools, and Eric is going to be talking a little bit of different tools that the district Rotary International offers to give you, if you're going to order your shirts, if you're going to do your website, there's a lot of guidance of how you can, of things that you can use the logo for. And also materials, there's materials available, easy to use. You can create your own logo. You can follow the guidelines. You can create materials, and we'll show you a little bit of the brand center. And if you don't have access to it, just let us know, and we'll be glad to set up a Zoom meeting with you and walk you through it. I'm just going to skip a little bit of this, but just find your champions. We just found a champion here with us, Monica, who's going to be very helpful to the district. So Monica, we're going to be reaching out to you for the marketing and the strategic part. So we would love to have your ideas, and that's what we're here for. We're here to to share best practices. We have communicators, we have great writers, we have people that works on magazines, newspapers, and we need their expertise. And we will be welcoming any type of support that we can to share our stories. We have to set goals. Currently, our goal for the district is to ensure that all our clubs are compliant, are brand compliant. So that's for July, like I mentioned. So we're going to start working on that in January, just to make sure that everybody's has that. The other part is motivation. We're all volunteers, and when everybody talks about branding, public image, like Kid mentioned, we're sometimes are thrown into the role without, I'm not an expert on public image. I'm not an expert. And we go day by day and we learn and we try something new. We try, new platforms, we try different things, and hey, we're trying. And I think that's the most important. Keep trying. And once you keep the practice going, it's going to be easier and easier every time. English is my second language. So I had a challenge at the beginning, to sometimes posting in different, I have a terrible time at Twitter because in Mexico, we were thought a different way to, just write, and then trying to give a message and, in so many characters is challenging, but hey, we keep trying. So, just keep trying. There's a lot of platforms. The important thing is to keep, sending our message. Something that we're working on at the zone level is how do we tell Rotary story? And when I ask you, why did you join Rotary? I know all of us joined Rotary because of different reasons. We got a family member that was in it. My uncle invited me to Rotary. My dad was a Rotary president. My grandfather was a Rotary president. But there's different areas that I'm interested in supporting in Rotary. Helping children. That's one of my passions. So how do I do it? And how do I share the stories? How do we excite people about what we're doing? It's just having that message of why helping each other is important. We have a unique, and we talked about this, during last year when we had COVID. COVID, it was a call, a wake-up call, I think, for all of us. And we really learned. I learned last year, and we were in a meeting, and somebody said, my good news this week is that I got a call from my president of my club because my family's away. I live with myself. How important a phone call is to our club members. How important it is to be out there, how important it is to smile to our neighbors. We don't know where, just the small things are changing everybody's, and everybody can do it. Everybody has the opportunity to help each other. And now, after the pandemic, everybody wants to be involved. I've been going out. El Paso, as you may know, is one of the cities with the highest vaccination rates, and things are going back to normal, thank God. And I've been at events, and everybody's excited. Everybody's eager to be active. So I think we have an opportunity to be able to share the story of why Rotary is making a difference in the world. So just keep that in mind. And like Jeff was saying at the beginning, it's very important that, small but mighty clubs are making a difference. Each Rotarian is making a difference. And we got to make sure that we share that story. The strategies to promoting our clubs is raising awareness, attract and engage. How do we attract new members? We always heard that conversation about age brackets of new members. It doesn't matter. We need new members. Michael was talking about an age bracket that we all have an opportunity to join Rotary. And as you know, our international Rotary president motto is each one bring one. How difficult it would be to just commit for the 2021-2022, we're just going to bring one additional member. That's it. But everybody commit to that. I already brought mine. I already have a new member in my club. I'm not going to stop with one, but hey, let's just commit to that. Foster partnerships. Monica was talking about, how do we go and talk to people? Like I said, there's people that want to volunteer, that want to support local projects, media relations. You're probably more experts than I am at this, but we got to cultivate a relationship with them. We got to make our story out there. And the social outlets are, the local journalists are looking for good news now more than ever. Hey, we got to do a one pager of what our club does and send it to the media. They might be interested. They might have a spot. They might have a 3-minute break or something that they want to share good news. Local magazines are looking for good news after the pandemic. They all want to share good news of what everybody's doing. So just think about that. It's not complicated. Training resources. Eric, you're going to be covering this, correct?
Yeah, I'll be covering that.
Perfect. So
And
let me
some
go
other
ahead.
things.
Let me go ahead and move forward with this. Just I'll skip the training. But People of Action campaign. There's a lot of tools that we can use. 35% of the public is familiar with Rotary program. That's what we wanted to change that. Rotary to People of Action. You probably see us hashtag People of Action a lot. Please do that, and everything you do, People of Action is what we are. We have this picture. Great picture. We can see Jimmy, who's with us today, in the back. This is it was a conference. It was our district conference, and they were packaging food. Look at the difference. Together we fight hunger. Same picture. There's tools. There's an app that you can download it to make it easier to put these messages on your pictures. If you want them, just send them to us, and we'll be glad to put them. It's super easy to do that, and it just transforms. Inspire. Together we promote peace. Together we network. It's different messages about People of Action. So what do we do next? I know it's hard sometimes to build teams, but just if you find 1 or 2 people in your club that everybody has social media. It's not hard to share stories. Make sure that we include public image on your trainings and committees, and by being here with us today. For me, honestly, this is one of the most important aspects of Rotary. Our public image is what's going to make us grow. So I'm very grateful that you took the time on Saturday and being with us. And, you have our commitment that we're going to be here to help you. And we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that your story is out there. There's the resources, and Eric is going to be covering this at rotary.org. And what we need from your club, if you don't have a public image share, if you don't have anybody that's doing it, volunteer. Just say, hey, I'll be it. And there's trainings for that. There's like 5 or 6 trainings that Eric's going to be covering on that, and we will be glad to meet with you and talk to you about suggestions, ideas, your stories, photos. I've been getting Sandia and some other clubs that might not have. Emily has been sending them to me, and I'm very grateful, Emily, that you're taking the time to take pictures. And I know sometimes it's hard. You're in an event, you're not thinking about taking pictures because you want to make sure that the event goes by. I always tell my club, if you don't take pictures, and it's not in Spanish, and I always have a problem with translation with this. I should have write it down in a note in my computer. In Spanish, we say, hay que cacarear el huevo. So in English, I think it's to toot Rotary's horn, not our own horn. But we got to toot Rotary's horn, and we got to make sure that people are aware that Rotary is in the community. And copies of your club newsletter. If you have stories, send them to the Yucca, send it to us, and we'll be glad to share it as much as we can. What can we offer? We can promote your programs. We can create events on social media that you can share with your friends, share best practices, whatever has worked, what hasn't worked, comments and shares. You know, we have 68 clubs, and sometimes when you go to the district website, we have like 20 likes or 10 likes. And you're like, you're not doing it for the likes, but what happens is what everybody likes it, it appears on your feed. So that news is multiplied by the numbers of people that are posting. So just food for thought. If you can do that, that'll be great. If not, don't worry, you are not here for the likes, but we just want to make sure that people in your community sees that our district is vibrant. Something that we tried to do last year, and you know, this is my information, and I'll post it. I need to update it, but I'll post it on the website. But something that we did last year, and people always ask me, why do you want to take a picture of a Zoom meeting? And I say, because I want people to know that we're active every Saturday morning in a training, that we're active every Wednesday when we have our club meetings, because people need to know that even we're at home, we're active. And we're creating programs and we're helping the community. You know, there's a lot of good that was done last year through our 68 clubs. And we want to make people that are aware of that. You know, I love the program that Michael was talking about, you know, that to give a scholarship to a nurse. You know, who here wouldn't be grateful to a nurse who took care of her families? All of us. So, you know, and Michael will be glad to share that, you know, give us a poster, we'll pass it around. And you never know, we got the weirdest things happen during the pandemic. And I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, we're talking about the Navajo program. You know, we posted our Navajo and I got a message from Dallas saying, hey, you know what? We have a club in Dallas and we want to donate to the Navajo project. Give us an address. I gave him my address. I got boxes of books, of toys, because they were for the kids that were in a hotel. You never know the reach of a post. So it's very important that we make sure to share it, and we'll be here to help you out. So I don't want to take this very long, but I want to pass it on to Eric, who like I said, is a rock star, and Eric has a lot of experience in media and website design, social media. So Eric, please take us away.
Thanks, Arturo. So the big thing, you know, getting all of that reach out there is to make sure that we present Rotary in the best light. So my part is a little more technical, or Arturo's is more philosophical. But I wanted to walk you through a couple of different things in a different places where you can find information that'll help you out with all of the things that we have going on. So the Rotary International has some fantastic resources online. And if you go to rotary.org and log into your My Rotary, and then you go through the Learning Center, they have great courses here on public image. And there's about 12 hours worth of stuff if you really want to sit down and look through it all. But the nice thing about the Learning Center is you have different things that you can pick on. So if I want to, you know, build Rotary's public image, I can pull up this video and it's 15 minutes long, and I can learn what Rotary as an organization would like us to do to help build the public image. Maybe I want to learn more about the Rotary brand and how it ended up where it is, or how we tie public relations to your club. This is a fantastic resource to answer all of those questions that you might have about how do I do this public image job? Because it's not super well defined, and it encompasses a lot of things, and there are a lot of questions, and this is a great place to get a lot of those questions answered. So the next thing I want to show you is the Brand Center. This is, if you're doing any public image work, this should be your favorite bookmark on your web browser. If you're doing anything for Rotary, you should always come to the Brand Center and grab things. They have everything. They have everything you need for the People of Action campaign that Arturo was talking about. You can grab resources from People of Action, or it'll let you create your own. There are probably, I don't know, 1,000 photos here online that you can use on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, anything that you're doing, and it's already done for you. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't have to pay somebody to put out really good looking materials. The one thing I want to make sure that everyone's aware of is how easy it is to get a brand compliant logo for your club. So when you go to the brand center and you come down here to logos, and you can go to logo templates, and it's going to let you, we can pick up the club logo, and it will let you create your own logo for your club that is compliant with Rotary International's guidelines. So here I can do the normal or the simplified. I could do Rotaract. I can do Interact. I can do full color. I can do single colors. That's not very helpful. We can do all of it. And then you can set it up. So for, like Clovis, this would be the Rotary Club of Clovis. And I save it. And now I have a brand compliant image ready for me to use. And I can put it on Facebook. I can put it on Instagram. I can put it anywhere, and I am compliant. It's that easy. And if you ever have questions about that, you can always reach out to me or Arturo, and we'd be happy to help you out. But in 30 seconds, I made sure I had something that would make sure that my club is compliant with the branding rules. And you can get them with the lockups. You can get them with the different things that you're doing. If you wanted, something with polio, or if you wanted something with President Maida's Serve to Change Lives, all of these logos are available right there on the brand center for you to use. So you can show all of your Rotary excitedness, for lack of a better word, easily through this tool. And it's a great tool, and it's easy to use. Sometimes you have to be patient. The Rotary International website is down a lot. I think it's just because they get a lot of traffic. So sometimes you have to be patient and wait for it. But it's a good tool. There are tons of guidelines telling you how do we advertise for polio? How do we use the People of Action correctly? How do I set up my own identity campaign? How do I really plan an event well? How do I make sure that I'm using logos correctly? How do I make sure that my website is compliant and has the information that they want? There's tons of information here on the Brand Center. And as a public image chair or somebody who is part of that group, this should be your favorite place on the website. So what I wanted to just quickly show you is a couple of different websites from the district. Some using Club Runner. So this is the El Paso Rotary Club, and their website is set up on Club Runner, and it's great. It's got all the information. It's visually appealing. When people see this, they'll click through it because they want to see more. Going back to my story of why I joined Rotary, I bought a business and I felt like that's what you should do. You should join a civic organization, whether it be Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, whatever. And when I was looking through, our Rotary clubs in town had a web presence. And that's really what swayed me to join Rotary in the first place. I fell in love and with the mission of Rotary and all of that, and that's why I'm still here. But that initial web presence is what brought me to Rotary instead of like Kiwanis or Lions or something like that. So this El Paso club, they've got the correct brand. They've got all of the information. They've got lots of links, all the information they need. And it's right through Club Runner. You don't have to pay anything for it. Club Runner has a really robust website builder that if you're interested in going that route, I'd be happy to walk you through how to set up some of this. And a lot of the photos, so here's another one. This is the Rotary Club of Albuquerque. And this photo right here, the Together We Mentor, is directly available from the Brand Center. So they're using Rotary approved photos, and it makes their website look really impactful. Now, the only thing we have to work on, I noticed this morning, is that we've got to make sure that the Albuquerque Club is compliant, because right now they've got the wheel in the Zia symbol. And we'll have to make sure that we change this to the Rotary Club of Albuquerque.
I will
But-
pass that along.
And it's nothing bad, but now you know where to find the correct logo. It's a quick fix. It's an easy fix. But they've got great information. They've got messages from their president. They've got upcoming programs. They've got their Facebook page. All of it's here. All of it's easy to find. It's great. So the next one, this is my club. This is our page. I didn't use Club Runner. You can, it doesn't matter. I just, when I design websites for people, I use different tools. But our website, we tried to make it as friendly and informational as we could. There's links for our upcoming service projects. There's links to Rotary. There's links to our bulletins, new member forms, scholarship applications, our Facebook page, Rotary information, and links to everything that's important. You know, the district, always link the district in your website, just so that we can all share in those things. And then another one is Camino Real. This is Arturo's club. This one also is a WordPress. It's not a Club Runner site, but they've got great pictures. They've got great information. They've got everything in a good place. They've got lots of photos. It's very inviting. You want your website to look like it belongs in this decade. A lot of websites that I see around, you know, the district and around the country when I look at Rotary websites, is they still look like the late 90s, just text and maybe a photo or two. So what we want to do is make sure that you're looking a little more modern, so that when people are looking into clubs, especially people who are millennial and Gen Z, they're looking at your web presence to decide if they want to give you more of their interest or not. That's the way a lot of people decide things. So you want to make sure that you have a website that's inviting, that has all the information in it, and that gives people an easy way to reach out to you and to ask questions. So those are that's just the real quick and dirty of websites. And I will encourage you to go around and just look at the different websites available in the district, see the things that you like, and then reach out and ask, hey, how can we make this happen? Because the district's got a team who's willing to help you out, and we will make you look great. That's our job. So really, I think now we want to open it up to questions, comments, things like that. What can Arturo and I do for you all to help make your web and social media presence really stand out?
I could go if that's okay.
Yeah.
We have a picture of one of our recipients of the nurse's scholarship wiping a tear of joy from her eye. Great picture, captures it perfectly. She had a $10,000 scholarship, made a big difference in her life. How do we get that into, you know, where it's a public image and we can use that? Is you mentioned using your own photos, but it, you know, you went through it kind of quick, and I just want to make sure that that's something we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can either email that to me, and I'd be happy to put the public image branding on it for you, or I can walk you through sometime how to use the People of Action tool. Let me actually just share this real quick, and I can show you.
Eric, do you know the Facebook tool for the photo editor for? I think that's easier than the.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because that you can use it from your phone and just download the phone. So just I think that just an extra tool that you can use.
And I don't have that installed on my desktop Facebook. I've got it on my phone. There's
the People of Action photo editor. I think you have to do it through the Facebook when you're doing it.
Yeah. So if you add that to your Facebook, there is an app, and I always forget to use that, that lets you edit photos directly on Facebook. I'm pulling it up on my phone, and add the People of Action stuff correctly.
Let me see if I can get it. Let me get my Facebook and see if I can put it out there
Yeah.
on the screen. Give me 1 second.
But otherwise, you're more than welcome to. I put my email in the chat. You can always email me photos, and I'd be happy to put the People of Action
Here we go.
information on it.
Let me share my screen. See if you can see it. Let me thumbs up when you see it. Perfect. So it's called the People of Action Photo Editor. You can use the app, or you can do it to the website. Let's see. I normally use it from my phone, so I don't know where it's going to take me, but I think it takes you to the website, and then you do open photo, and then you have the templates here in the bottom.
Can you download?
Yeah, and you just download the picture, so it's really simple. Give me 1 second. Let me get a picture that I can. Let me see, so I can show you the full.
I didn't
process.
see a download button or the
Oh.
little paperclip that.
Let me show you. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get one of the pictures.
So Eric, while he's looking for it, can you go back 1 step? I kind of missed something. This is on Facebook?
Yes, that's on Facebook. Give me 1 second.
So if you're looking for it, the easiest way to do it here, if you're not sure, is just go to Google and type in People of Action Facebook tool, and it'll take you right to it.
Okay.
And you can then click on it. It'll bring it up in Facebook. It'll ask you to use the app, and it'll take you to the website, which is easier than trying to type in the website.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So you said that you had the picture on your Rotary website for the nurse?
Well, I've seen it was emailed to me the other day, and I saw
Oh,
it come through on an email. Actually, it came through on my phone from one of my fellow Rotarians.
Oh, okay.
And we thought that, that's just a great representation of what the Nurses Scholarship does. And, I thought, well, what are we doing with that picture besides sharing it amongst ourselves?
Can you put it here in the chat so I can work on it and I can show you how to do it? Or if you can text it to me.
I could text it to you.
Yeah.
Off my phone.
Yeah. And I'll save it on my computer and show you how we can do it.
And while he's doing that, just a question about people knowing that their image will be used. So would they have to have verified with that scholarship recipient that they could use the picture?
That's a great question. We have a form, authorization form to use the pictures, and that's very important. Their children, if the children, their parents need to sign. And you ask them, sometimes you just can ask them, hey, can we use your picture? Some of the things that we use, for example, in our club for when we present food pantries for people, we blur their face so you don't see who the person is. But we already have their what is it called, their sign-up forms approving for us to use a picture, but we don't want to put their face receiving food, so we kind of blur that, and you just have the action of providing the food, and it just doesn't become that personal. But
okay.
But we'll be glad to send that picture, the form to you, so you can have that.
Okay. And is there I don't think I've ever used a blurring tool. Is that where would you get that?
It depends. I don't know if Eric, you have a suggestion. I just got an app from the phone, and I think it's called the Photo Editor.
Do you have an iPhone or an Android?
Android.
So typically in either one, you can actually just edit photos directly from there. And in the editing tool, sometimes there's a markup where you can, draw. Typically it's like a highlighter tool, but you can turn it to where it just kind of fuzzes the face out. Or you can download, there's tons of free photo editor tools that allow you to do that automatically. It's just kind of whatever you're most comfortable with. I don't have anything that I use over anything else.
Okay.
But that doesn't, there are lots of options available and they're all free. You don't have to pay for any of that.
Okay.
Arturo?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And Eric both. One thing we've been seeing as there's been more significance placed on not just promoting what clubs are doing, but in a real kind of public image sense to kind of attract people, is we're seeing fewer pictures of, let's say, a speaker shaking a hand of the club president in front of the banner. And we're seeing more pictures like the one you showed at the district conference of Rotarians working. And my sense is that's going to continue. And I think that adds a lot to the Together We, because it's action pictures, not shaking hands, or even pictures of like us on Zoom is great, but it's not really like an action picture.
Right.
So is that kind of a trend that you're seeing as well? And is that being kind of recommended as for clubs to, especially ones that may not have the kind of the natural expertise, just reinforce the importance of action photos rather than shaking hands and things like that?
I think it's a combination that we need to use. Let me see, I found a picture that will show for the exercise. But I think you're right, Jeff, but I think sometimes it's a combination, because having that picture of people shaking hands in front of the flag and a representative, it also shows, the level of networking we have majors or different people show to our meetings. So I think that's also important. So I think keeping a good balance, let's see. But like, you're right, I mentioned the pictures of the Zoom. Oh, you're working on it, Eric? Oh, thank you.
So I just pulled one up. We painted it at our
perfect.
local zoo a couple weeks ago.
Perfect.
We redid all the railings and things like that. And I just now, and I'll walk you through the whole process again of how easy it is to use this tool.
So Michael, if you want to, can you hear us, Michael?
Your phone number?
202-256-2727.
So if you just Google People of Action Facebook editor, it's going to pull it up. And I'm going to use the app. And I'm going to open this photo that I pulled off our Facebook page of us at the zoo getting ready to paint. And down at the bottom is the template button. And you can pick, are you using Rotary, Rotaract, Interact, any of the master brand stuff? So I'm going to come here to Rotary, and it gives me all of these different people of action things. So together we connect, together we empower, together we inspire. So here, together we have fun because we had a good time painting. And I'm going to just stick it on there. And now I have a photo that's a lot more meaningful. It really shows, it's got the Rotary brand, and it kind of says what we're doing. And then it's as simple as saving it. And then I can stick it on Facebook.
And then when you click save, it tells you download, right? Where to download
it'll
it to?
download it. Yep. And you can put it wherever you want to. Let me pull that up real quick.
And is it the same on, if you have your phone and you open up the Facebook, if you go to the same one, the photo editor for?
Yeah, it should be exactly the same.
And it's
so then I can pull it up.
Easy.
And it's a high quality. It doesn't look as great on the website because they're trying to save bandwidth, but it came out really high quality. Something we could be proud to put on our Facebook page. This would make a great Instagram cover. It could make a good, if you're really interested in pulling in like Gen Z aged people, TikTok is a place that's really becoming very popular. I haven't gone into TikTok, but it's a place that if you really want to attract that younger group, your Rotaractors and your Interactors are going to be the ones who are going to have the biggest presence on TikTok. And that's a way that if you let them do that safely and correctly, you could really advertise well for your club or for Rotary on that platform, because it's underutilized right now.
So Eric,
Yes.
can I ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
When you create these photos like this, can you put your club name there, or does it just keep the Rotary?
So that one is
Brand,
just
yeah.
for people of action
Okay, so
stuff.
you
That's
can't-
that's no.
You can't put your name on the People of Action template, right?
From
No.
that tool, I don't think we can.
No,
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm pretty sure, real quick, let me just pull it up and make sure that I'm not lying. I should be able to.
Eric, I just sent you the picture of the nurse.
Okay,
I just emailed it to you. So if you want to work with that
Perfect.
one.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if I posted a photo. I think I can just actually add it right there. I'm interacting with myself. Apologize. I should have had this more planned out. Just for fun, let's go to that one I was just working with. That one. I should be able to edit.
The 29th, by the way, is the date, January 29th.
Got it.
Okay. So Richard, that one you would have to use like a free photo editing tool
Okay,
to add your logo.
okay,
Facebook doesn't let you do that.
okay. It's really just getting in there and playing with it, huh? I mean,
It's all about trial and error. That's the easiest way to get through it, is to try it and see what works and see what doesn't. And like I said, we'll be happy to sit down with you and walk you through all of that. Where did that photo go?
Can I ask a question about money well spent?
Yeah.
All right, so we have all these sponsors to the gala. We've got $30,000 so far this year for the nurses. So last year, when it was my year to run the thing, I contacted the local newspaper and I wanted a full page, and they wanted $3,000, and we negotiated down to $1,500. So that $1,500, we have a whole page talking about Rotary, the sponsors, a picture of some nurses, and just information like that. I advertised for my hearing aid company in the same newspaper, and I've been advertising, in a section for 6 months, and I've never gotten a phone call. And I've offered free this and free that. So I'm wondering, with that $1,500 that we spent, was there a better use of that? And not that I don't like newspapers, but you want to get a response from your money. You want something to happen. I advertise in the regular newspaper on a regular basis at the tune of about $500 a month. And I get some response from the Journal, but the Rotary, the Rio Rancho one, I get nothing. And I'm wondering, is there another way to spend that money?
Well, one of the things that you can do is once you do the post on Facebook, there's different ways to promote your post. And for, $100 or even less, it gives you the demographics that the message is going to be sent out to. So sometimes when you open up, for example, any social media and you get messages like advertising, that's somebody that paid to get it to your age bracket, or so you don't have to spend the $1,500 on that. I think about it, $1,500 could be a partial scholarship in the university I'm at. So I think right now there's a lot of different ways that you can advertise that you don't have to spend that much money on on the promotion of something that you're doing. Something that you can do, Michael, is if you have those partnerships with your it's hard to do because you have to be very strategic and consistent on it. But I've seen it done from the Albuquerque Rotary Club. They had was it a telethon or what was it? A telethon?
was a telethon, yeah.
So they had a
Yes.
telethon and they fundraised a lot of money. And I continue to see it because if you go to our district Facebook page, every so often they put a post thanking one of their partners with their logo and say, Channel 27, thank you so much for your collaboration. They put the logo and it goes on their website, on their Facebook, on their website. And what we do, we just, we reply, we send it to our district because they're partners of our clubs. And that's for free. And you continue to promote them. And, many times when we talk about possible sponsor, we say, hey, we're going to do this. But the one that I've seen it do it constantly is the Albuquerque Rotary Club. They have been constantly thanking their sponsors, and people see it on their website, on their Facebook, and they post up. And so I think that's a good way to not be able to spend all that money on that.
Also, I think using press releases for events is, it doesn't cost anything. And you might get some print media and even some broadcast media coverage for free by sending out press releases on these events, either before or after.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you send those press releases to the media outlets, sometimes they're looking for stories, and it might be a good opportunity for them to talk about Rotary and to tell them a little bit more of what your clubs is doing. And we also, that's the picture. Thank you, Eric. Sorry for going all the
No,
trouble.
sorry, I had to convert it. So to answer your question too, and I work in print media, but a lot of print media is kind of a dead advertising format. You'd be much better off spending $20 a month on Facebook boosting ads about your events. You'll see a lot more return than you do from typical old school newspaper and even radio advertising. Advertising money really belongs to the internet now, and you'll get a lot more response from boosting your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, boosting your website, paying for search engine optimization, things like that. You're going to see a lot more return on that than you do from typical print advertising.
So
and I also will jump in here.
Yeah, go ahead, Micah.
I also will agree that the most return of the investment is through the social media, and now Facebook, that has the most demographic. But I would be careful with the radio, because it all depends on your demographic and on your budget, right? Like all the media serves the purpose. It's just a different kind of media mix. And it depends on how much budget you have and how much you are willing to spend. So if you want to really get the squeeze, Facebook is the one that you can identify them. You can very, very specifically, and you can measure it as well. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Monica. And something that we talk about, Michael, I think when you were getting your phone, it was the authorization to release the picture. Is very important that we get the permit from the person receiving the award, or just to make sure that we have that information. Rotary wants to make sure that we have all those. So sometimes they ask us for pictures for when they're doing their general meetings or assemblies, and they ask us, do you have the release? And yeah, we do have it, or we don't. So
we get a release from all of our participants.
Awesome. But you see how Eric turned this picture, empowering, and then you can put a little caption on it saying, this is one of our scholarship recipients. She's going to be serving as a nurse or something like that. And
we would do that in Photoshop.
Yeah. So that's basically on the app. You don't have to do anything. Just you can once you share the picture on your social media, you can put the text on it and say, this is one of our awardees, and we would like your support to continue promoting, our healthcare workers, or I don't know, something on that regards. And if you can get a quote from her saying how beneficial the scholarship was, that's also very powerful. Those stories. And before we go any further, I got reminded that we need to take a picture. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll get back to more comments. And thank you, Eric, for going through all that. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just amazed of you make it look so simple. So thank you for.
Well, and I apologize if I went too fast. Please reach out to me on email or call me, whatever. I will be happy to walk you through it. I forget that this is second nature to me and it's not for other people. So I make that mistake and I apologize. We had a lot to cover in not a lot of time, but please reach out. I'm always happy to help.
So everybody, please smile. Emily, are you with us? Jermaine, good to see you. Are you with us? If you can please turn your camera. Oh, you're connected in 2 cameras. Perfect. Awesome. So everybody smile, look at the camera. And Jeff was reminding us about the YouTube videos. Thank you. Thank you. And there's a YouTube channel that we have for the district. So that's also, and like I said, I think we can share, the stories from our different clubs. You never know who's going to be in the area. Just make sure that you share the district. We'll share your clubs. And I think the more we share, they don't charge us for sharing, the stories. Just make sure that you share, and you never know who's the post is going to reach. But yeah, like I said, Eric is a true asset for a district. He's incredible. He's always willing to help. And I'm very grateful to Eric because he's been, like I said, God sent to help us on a lot of different things, a lot of different projects. And I've never heard Eric say no. So thank you, Eric, for all your support. And we're here to help you. Like Eric said, we're here to help you. And if we're not experts, we know who to reach. So we want to include Monica on our list for design. So that's part of Rotary. So thank you for that. And, we didn't take a break. We have about 15 minutes or so left. I don't know if there's any questions or comments, anything else that you might have that you want to talk about.
I just maybe comment on the picture that I just saw, and I don't know because for me also it's very important the message. So the written is connected with the visual. The little nurse, I don't know if she's there crying or what she's doing, because then we need to put another explanation that maybe she's crying from joy, because it's confusing, empower, and then somebody that is sad. That's just observation.
I would think to put underneath the tears of joy.
So the reason that is the way it is to be in the people of action, to be compliant. It's the only thing that can be on the picture. So that's when you put that on Facebook. That's when you write your post underneath it that says, hey, we're empowering her. She's crying because we gave her this huge scholarship and we really believe in her. So that's where those things, you have to have both pieces. You have to have the visual and you have to have the written so that it does make sense. But to be compliant with that people of action stuff, that can be the only thing on the photo. So just make sure when you post stuff like that on Facebook that you're really explaining the photo. Give your narrative behind it.
And if you can get a quote from her saying, the impactful, or, that also very powerful.
It's a great newsletter story too.
And sometimes you can, right now with the cell phones, everybody, you can record and ask, hey, can you give a testimonial? And, you upload that, and, it's life-changing because they let other people know that your club is helping in that way. So that's also very simple to do. And we will be glad to cover that. And I got Tim's message saying that it was a very informative session to do another one. We're going to be working also with one of the El Paso club members who has a company on specific videos and things like that. So probably in the spring, we'll work with Jeff to have another session on videos and help you on that. But we're here, we're a resource. We're here to help you, and we're glad to support in any way that we can.
Arturo.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for joining us. I know you had the Saragossa event, so thank you. Anything else, Jeff?
Are we finishing?
Almost.
Are we finishing?
Not yet.
So while I was listening to you, because I was kind of thinking that we will be like brainstorming and thinking about the strategy for the year, but I guess this is like an introductory thing. But when it comes to these are the things that I kind of took in when it comes to getting more members. So we have that personal touch that we need to, these community, this is like a community base. So it's a very personal, like I was invited I was really shy to approach it by myself. So it needs to be that direct marketing kind of approach, and almost like MLM marketing strategies, and exterior branding, which is the exterior. Then we're just doing the big picture and the branding, really not so much call to action, but just the branding. And I think there's like 5 things that I wrote that I believe that will do the journey of each member. So first we need to reach them or touch them, as they call it. We need to touch them.
Connect.
And then we need to excite them. So they need to get excited, or they need to have that purpose, the reason, right? Networking, people, service. And then we need to make them members, and then we need to mentor them and engage them. That's kind of what
Excellent. That's it. Yes, Jeff.
Can I respond
Hmm.
smiling to what Monica just said?
Definitely. Please do.
We do talk a lot about that in our strategic planning groups, which is that efforts like public image work really well when you have a sense of your target audiences. Like who do we want to see these messages? Because it's not necessarily universal. You've got potential members that want to see messages. You've got the community, perhaps groups that you want to, or your club wants to partner with. So part of the strategy of public image starts with what audience or audiences are we trying to reach, and what do we want them to know, or what emotional reaction do we want them to have? And I think that's kind of what you were alluding to. So potential members are a great target audience to consider. They're not the only one, but there may be certain messages that are designed specifically for that target market. It's framed that way. Like, wow, this is really going to be impactful for people that are maybe thinking about us, or they heard about us, but they don't know that much. So I do think that strategically understanding those target audiences and what type of information is going to resonate with them is important from a strategic standpoint.
And I would normally agree with what you're saying, Jeff, because that's our by the book, thinking, strategic thinking in the sense, but like that's why I said MLM, because when you talk about that type of organization, they're just touching from people to person. Like if we're talking to be effective and to actually touch them, establishing, because all of us can be interested in being a Rotarian. Like I was hearing Bob talking that a Rotary should be a representation of the community. So there is like all different kinds of people that might be interested in it. So we don't really, if we would try to establish messages for different demographics, it would take us a lot of money. But we should be starting from our roots, which are our members, and then the people. It's kind of like an MLM, basically, style of marketing approach. Yes, and yeah, and I'm just saying because I'm a new, so I'm just kind of like seeing it from my fresh perspective, right? I wasn't really part of any.
No, and thank you, Monica. That's very refreshing. And there's a lot of ways to get engaged, and like, with your strategic background, Jeff oversees a lot of the strategic planning for the club. There's a specific group for that, and we welcome all the ideas, and we've seen the challenge that has been for Rotary to connect, in the last years, and how all the efforts they're trying to do to be more approachable, to be more closer to the people. So I think all the fresh views and everything, and like Jeff said, we're talking to all different, there's a lot of different arrays of interest of why people join Rotary. But like you said, we have to have that personal connection, or that understanding why that people might want to join Rotary and have a specific link to that. So, this is not finishing here. This is what this is part of a series, and we would love to continue the
And
conversations.
I will be contacting you, Jeff, because Bob was telling me to do the strategy for the club. So
That'd be
I
great.
will be emailing you.
Perfect. And I put my contact information on the chat in case you have anything. Cheryl, do you have a question? Comment?
I just have a quick question. Is anyone experimenting with using Nextdoor as a means for, the app Nextdoor? It's like a neighborhood thing.
Yeah.
Has anybody tried using that, or is just wondering?
I haven't used it, to be honest with you, but I don't know if anybody else
Haven't either.
has.
No.
No, not really. They're getting themselves known. They're rising. Facebook.
I think
just
that might be a lot more successful where you are in Albuquerque, rather than where we are kind of out in the sticks out here, because it really is, it's a true hyper local play or social media network built
Yeah.
around specific neighborhoods in places. So you might have more success with that, especially hitting a certain demographic in your marketing. But I would just be careful and make sure that it's actually going to do what you want it to do.
Emily, would you like to try to unmute the other device?
Yeah,
Because I
let me
think
try
you're-
to do.
There
yeah,
we go.
I'm sorry.
Now we can hear perfectly. No worries,
Good.
no worries.
All right, my whole system went down. So then I brought everything back up again. And so my speaker didn't work. So I missed all of Eric's presentation. So then
It's recorded, it's recorded.
Good. So then I went on my phone, and so that's how come I'm on here twice. So anyway, I did go on neighborhood, and I got two ladies that were interested. And so they gave me their phone numbers and their email addresses. And so I have been in contact with both of those ladies. They haven't been to the meeting yet, but one of them had an emergency with her daughter. She had to take care of her in another state. And the other one is just busy, but I did get some interest in that. So I think that that's not a bad thing to go
Platform.
through.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not a bad platform at all. And I think that we might get others that would be interested in that if we
I
go
think-
through neighborhood.
Yeah, I think what Eric was saying, a lot of this is trial and error. There's very unconventional ways that we're going to be recruiting people now after the pandemic. So we need to be really creative and think outside the box. So Cheryl, thank you for sharing that. And I think we need just to try and see how we can get additional, just wearing the pins is a conversation started, wearing the polio shirts. So just remember, we're walking brand, how do you call it?
Billboards.
Walking billboards, correct. And before we go, I just wanted to share a brief story. And you probably heard this, I talked about it. One of our main projects is children heart surgery. And we support children heart surgery for children of low income in the state of Chihuahua. And there was a fundraiser from the mothers of the children that have had surgery. They were trying to help other children. And when I got there, one of the kids reached out to her mom, and her mom brought him, and she told him, mijito, this is a Rotarian. Like, he couldn't imagine what a Rotarian was. He had heard that Rotarians have helped her sister, and he said, you know what? I want to be a Rotarian when you grow up because you saved my sister. So that's how powerful, everything we're doing is. So we're ambassadors of this brand. And we want to ask for your support to make sure that the story is out there. And Eric, myself, Jeff, our governor, our leadership, we're here to support you. We want to make sure that your club succeeds. We want to make sure that your stories are out there. And we're a vibrant district. We're excited to share that. When you see other districts, we're doing great things for our community. We just want to make sure that people are aware. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Governor. I don't know if you would like to close, Governor, with some final remarks.
Now, this was a great session. Lots of exchange of ideas, which is always very positive. I think we're headed in the right direction. Branding is one of the major things we're focusing on this year. in addition to membership in the foundation. And so I thank all the effort of our team putting this together, and all of you taking time out of your morning to spend it with us, because it shows that you see the importance of this. And together, we're going to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Eric. Thanks, everybody, for taking time, and we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming trainings. Jeff, do you want to give a little commercial of the upcoming trainings? I know we have a foundation coming up. Do you want to go ahead and share that?
We have, thank you for the plug, Arturo. Yes, we have the third assembly, which is going to be on the Rotary Foundation, led by past district governor and current district Rotary Foundation committee chair, Linda Woodward. That's going to be next Saturday. It'll be a little bit longer because if you know about the foundation, there's just a lot to it. Registration is on the website like it is for this. And then we have the bi-district conference coming up. And then we have the second session for the Rotary Leadership Institute, which Arturo also mentioned. So again, all of that's on the district website. There's a lot of learning going on right now. And then of course, starting in the spring, we've got pets and training for AGs and LGs. So we are chock full this year.
Share with your club members. This are open trainings to all. Everybody can join, learn. Monica, we're very grateful that you took the time. You're a new member and you're learning about the organization. Foundation is super important. So hopefully we'll see you next weekend, and just share it. Zoom has given us that access to all of us. So just make sure that everybody's aware and they'll make the decision to join us. So thanks, everybody. Our contact information, Eric and myself, are online. Eric, again, thank you for everything. And we look forward to seeing you in the future upcoming trainings. And look for us on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube.
YouTube.
Talk.
Thank you all.